Hoyney, I feel like we just need to address the elephant in the room straight off the bat. You told us to chill multiple times last week at the mere suggestion Collingwood might have been vulnerable, off their tucker, in a patch of ordinary form that was going to cost them their season. How was that aged for you?
Hello, G. Hello, Sammy. It's great to be here.
What was it like being talk of the town last week on Friday morning?
It's good to see people listen at least, I think. My God, I just had to go the way out.
Selective editing. It was selective editing.
You get, to give a little self an out that in 52 hours' time they lost. There might be a bit of a panic, panic button there. But
and they did.
Yeah,
so,
no, they did.
Are we panicking?
That's the question.
I think panicking's a bit of a stretch. I still look at it, and we continually roll over a 6-week period. We don't chop and change into 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Not L's and W's.
Correct, over a 6-week period. And absolutely things have changed for Collingwood. There's no doubt about that. They were bulletproof after round 16, after round 17. Right now, they aren't bulletproof, but they are the furthest thing from having holes everywhere.
Right.
It is a profile at the moment, as I said, offensively, that is mid-table, not bottom 2, not bottom 3, just mid-table. And it's a defensive profile that is slightly better than mid-table, but nowhere near at the levels that it was up until round 16, 17. So, as I said, absolutely need to take it a little bit more on notice than what it was 7 days ago. But to sit here and for people to expect that their profile would read bottom 2, bottom 3, it's just wrong. Like that performance against Hawthorn was a disaster. It was a shocker. But it's their first real shocker.
Yep. Everyone's entitled to a shocker
for this season, and everyone will go, but what about round 0? Round 0 against GWS. Halfway through the third quarter, they should have been game pretty much well in the balance. They were extremely inaccurate in front of goal. Then GWS blew them away late. In terms of from start to finish, that is their only proper shocker for the season.
But they've got Adelaide in Adelaide. It's not a good time to have your shocker.
It's not a good time to have a shocker at all. I totally get that. No one wants to be having these concerns and red flags at this stage of the season. And playing Adelaide in Adelaide is absolutely far from ideal. But without sort of jumping ahead too much and just sort of staying in the moment and staying in this 6-week period, one shocker in 6 weeks, one performance against Brisbane, who full credit to what Brisbane did.
Yep.
And then 2 against Freo and Gold Coast, which you could have easily won. So
is the shocker an anomaly? And this is the question we can't answer. Or is it a sign of a club that's just
well, you
tapped out a little
do the read over a whole campaign, and it is the outlier, right? As I said, that's their first shocker from start to finish.
Yep.
Sounding like a double up on the chill pill. I went into Chemist Warehouse on Wednesday morning. Couldn't get a chill pill. They'd sold out. Sold out everywhere.
Everyone had taken them.
They're on sale Friday.
There's a bit, correct. There's a bit more urgency to the Collingwood discussion than 7 days ago.
I can just remember a game, Swans versus Port Adelaide, at about the same time last year. They got beaten by 120 odd points. Still made the grand final.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here going, they are done, shut the gate, it is all over.
Yeah.
From their third, they're 15 and 6, whatever they are.
Yeah.
They're in the fight. They had an absolute stinker against Hawthorn. You can't sugarcoat that. It was horrendous.
Yep.
One horrendous performance across the whole campaign. Don't give me round 0, as I said.
All right. Well, they're playing for top 4 this weekend. So this is it.
And by the way, I'll be tipping Adelaide. But how often have you seen
100%.
Collingwood get on the road?
It's what they do.
In a situation like this, gather where no one expected them to win.
This is what they do.
Yes. So
Are you worried about Nick Dacos and his injury?
I wouldn't know what his injury.
Yeah, either do I, but
I'm just
assuming he's got a little.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be worried about the reliance on him and just how much they need him, and just I don't know. I think like everyone found it bizarre.
I was going to ask you that. Yeah. I know they end up playing the same game time more or less.
Yeah.
And starting on the bench, they come on and off all the time. But it was a little weird, wasn't it? Starting your best player on the pine, Hawthorn kicked the first couple.
Yeah. I don't know. I always just throw yourself into the opposition coach's box, and I'm happier seeing Nick. on the bench to start the game.
Yeah.
I'm seeing him start inside the centre
Not
square
cool.
or even across half-back. I don't know.
Not cool. According to the smartest man in footy.
No. They've got more information than what we do. But,
Right.
your best, I would have thought you start him on the ground.
Josh Jenkins had a good theory, though, that it might have been about managing minutes. It's easier to manage the minutes at the start of a quarter as opposed to the end of a quarter when players can get stuck on the other side of the ground, which if he hadn't trained, which he hadn't throughout the week, and maybe he's a little bit sore, that was their way to manage his minutes a little bit. Anyway, Collingwood supporters, don't worry, they're as defiant as ever on the text. We're seeing them all. Keep them coming. We love it. 0433 98 11 16. They're talking a big game right now on a Tuesday night ahead of the weekend. All right, Hoyney, where does your talent sit?
So what we're doing to start the show today, we're going down Gerard's territory. We're going to go surfing.
Oh, okay.
Right, so we're going to go surfing. So come with
West
me
Coast
here,
or
G,
East
and
Coast?
come here and well, you tell me where we're
won't-
going.
no, we won't get into that argument.
Where we're going. So, who is hanging 10? Yep. Who
Do they
is
still
hanging
say
10?
that?
No.
Is that what we do? Is that what
Well,
we do? I googled it, and apparently that's what all the surfers say. Who's
Yeah,
hanging
if you
10?
were in Malibu in 1957, you're right on the, you're right on the
Well,
number.
Google needs to update itself because we'll try to work our way through that this afternoon. So we thought with 2 weeks to go until half the competition and their season ends,
Says
and then we
goodbye.
get into list management decisions and trade and draft and where does your list sit, and I think everyone loves the list conversation and the trade
early.
conversation and draft just goes bananas. So what we want to do is we want to see where is your club and where does its talent sit when we're going to hang 10 and we're going to go on the West Coast or the East Coast.
Right.
Okay. So are you at the stage where you're trying to grab a wave that's 1,000 kilometres offshore and it's a long way away from getting there? Or are you at the stage where it's developing into a swell and it's just about to reach that perfect wave where you can hang 10 and actually do it properly? Mm-hmm. Are you in that stage where your talent is sitting perfectly on that wave, surfing up until, what do you do, G? 6, 7, 8 hours of surfing on a Tuesday or Wednesday, something ridiculous that you do? Or is your wave just about to crash?
Right.
Where does your talent sit? So we've broken it into those 4 categories. So the under 22-year-olds, okay? So AFL average is that 17% of your rating points this year come from your under 22s. So come from your babies, right? They're 1,000 kilometres away.
Most
from getting
swell
there.
in Victoria gets generated at a place called Heard Island, which is a few thousand miles away.
So you naturally think that a lot of these rebuilding teams are going to sit there, right? So West Coast, a third of their rating points this year have come from their under 22s, which is the most in the competition. North Melbourne, a quarter of their ratings are coming from their under 22. Richmond are up there. St Kilda are up there. Brisbane have a quarter of their rating points this year coming from their under 22-year-olds.
Still.
Which should be scaring the competition.
Yeah.
With where they are at the moment and then what is actually coming through behind them. Someone like a Port Adelaide, those list management conversations would be really interesting because only 12% of their rating points have been generated from the babies.
This is deep stuff from Hoyney. This is tune in, folks. This is really interesting.
At the moment.
Yeah.
So then we go to the next group, the ones that are just at that swell stage, the wave starting to build, the next group of bona fide stars are coming. Who is it? So 34% of your ratings come from your 22 to 26-year-olds.
Right.
The next stars. All right. This is where, and you've been big on this, G, I'll give you credit. This is where Fremantle are sitting and just hanging tight. I don't think they're a likely chance to win the flag this year.
They're going to win it soon.
But 55% of their rating points are coming from this group that is just ready to explode and grab the competition and take it by storm. Almost 20%, more than 20% above AFL average. GWS also sit in that bracket, and Adelaide sit in that bracket as well, which is scary for the comp. Then the Brisbane example. Brisbane have got the babies, then they haven't got this group. So nothing really much to worry about.
Thank you, Johnny. Go ahead.
But just something there to look for. Then the peak. right? The ones that are actually on the absolute ideal wave, the one that you want to be on, the 26 to 30-year-olds.
This is Bodie's 50-year storm of Point Break.
Then a Point Break,
That's what this is.
Bells Beach.
30% of your ratings come from this group, the bona fide stars.
Right.
This is where you want your stars, right? So in that group, this is where Hawthorn Sydney, which is an interesting conversation.
I think most people would have thought they were at swell stage rather than
44% of their rating points come from this group.
at the wave stage.
Yeah, at the wave stage, suggesting that they've got so much of their group in that perfect bracket. Then you've got someone like a GWS who are fascinating.
Yeah.
Just 14% of their rating points are coming from that perfect, what we all describe as that perfect age bracket.
Yeah.
So they've got the next group that's below it, plenty in there, but then the stars in this peak, bracket to get, jump on that wave and go surfing, they are missing it. They are missing Brent Daniels, who sits in this group as well, who hasn't played a lot for the season, but just something there. And then the 30 pluses, where the right wave is about to crash and you got to start again. 18% of your ratings come from your 30 pluses. Collingwood are in their own different category. We know that. Double the AFL average. 37% of their ratings are coming from there. But they're in contention, right? So that's fine. Geelong, a quarter of their ratings come from 30 pluses. That's fine. Yeah. They're in contention. Brisbane, a quarter of their ratings come from the 30 pluses. They're fine. A couple of interesting clubs would be a little cause for concern who sit in that same category as Collingwood, Brisbane and Geelong.
But they're not contending.
Richmond sitting there.
Wow.
Okay. So Richmond's sitting there. So you think of Broad, you think of Loston, you think of Prestia, you think of Lynch, you think of a couple of others, Nankervis, that are in their group doing the bulk of the work whilst these kids come through.
Yep.
You're just hoping if you're Richmond,
they
hang on for another 2 years or so until these kids that are trying to wait for that wave that's 1,000 kilometres away can develop. St Kilda, also in the exact same bracket as what Richmond are. More than a quarter of their ratings have come from their 30 pluses this year. So where are they? Because if you're St Kilda at the moment, in the 30 pluses and the babies, half of your ratings are coming from there. Nothing's coming from in between.
Yep.
So where are you? Are you here or are you here? Right? And then the really interesting one, Sammy, is Carlton.
Oh dear.
Right, so 27% of their ratings are coming from their 30 pluses this year. Right, so where does that put them in terms of what do they do from a list management perspective?
Sounds
what do
like
they do from a trade
perspective? Sounds like they're on dry reef, Hoyney.
Yeah, so where does that actually leave them? So
not a good spot.
It's a different way to actually assess. As I said, where does your talent sit?
Yep.
So like the West Coast situation with 33% of your talent being the babies. It's Reid, Hewitt, Ginbey, Adam Marich has been a really good pickup for them. So you can see a little bit there. But then just a couple of examples there for other teams, and where does that sit? It's just an interesting read and something just to keep a track of.
Exceptional stuff from you, Hoyney. We need to tabulate that somehow and get it up on our.
I'll give Robbo a shout out back, and he put together an amazing graph
work,
that might go
Robbo.
up on the socials actually if you want that. So
that is a really fascinating insight. So give us the ones you're most concerned about outside. Clearly, Carlton.
Well, just the Richmond St Kilda Carlton one's just an interesting discussion. And then the Hawthorn situation with so much of your talent sitting in the perfect
They're more
bracket.
now than I thought they were.
Well, it sort of probably makes sense why they're having discussions around Butters and Reid and all these guys.
Now or never.
Shouldn't laugh at this, and I'm not. But Ben in Seaview Downs, I think Essendon went surfing with Harold Holt. It's coming through.
Harold Holt.
He's still
How
got
did he go with his surfing analogies, by the way? Did he lose you at Hanging 10?
Oh, Hanging 10 was probably a little bit stereotyped.
I did have to ring Joe before the show to see if I
thought the Beach Boys were going to come on.
Harold Holt's still got the holding your breath world record.
Oh, that's not.
He's in a submarine.
That's
isn't he?
enough from you. Just before we get back to Hoyney, the tribunal's been deliberating. I'm just following David Zeta for more than an hour on the Dylan Shield case. They're wrestling with that at the moment, but we'll get to that later. All right, Hoyney, getting something out of 2025, I imagine, is a challenge for, well, let's be honest, is a challenge for 9 clubs at the moment.
Yeah, it is. And I just want to start with the Swans. And I found it really interesting with Dean Cox yesterday and talking to Kane and Kingy on Fireball yesterday morning.
I think you just want to play with multiple methods, but you want to put a bit of speed on the ball.
it was so obvious it was a different method when he
Found it fascinating, and we talked about this. Was it last week or the week before? I think it was last week with 12 quarters to go.
Yeah.
right?
try
So
something
the,
different.
so the Swans from round 13 to round 21, third slowest team in the competition, go short the third most of any team in the competition, and challenge you to directly to goal the least of any team
Yep.
in the comp, and would only gain 125 metres by hand, third fewest in the comp. Right, sitting here, you go, that's probably not a brand
Yep.
that is going to stack up for 2026, where we're all probably looking at them going, if they stay healthy and have a good preseason, they're going to be in it up to their eyeballs in 2026. And then you see a totally different version of Sydney against Brisbane on the weekend. And I think everyone was like, was that to do with Brisbane? And Coxie, as he said, nothing to do with Brisbane. It's about us and trying to have a look at what it looks with more speed on the ball. So we haven't seen Sydney challenge a team directly to goal like that for 3 months. They gained 535 metres by hand. They haven't done that for 40-plus games.
It's the best handball game I've seen them play for 2 years.
And to see them challenge Brisbane offensively and to be prepared to be bold and be brave, they've got nothing to lose. But to sit back and have a look at it and go, that worked. We like that. We can head into 2026 knowing that is something that we've got in our kit bag. And I just wonder with someone like St Kilda, like that game on Saturday, that was horrendous, right? We have not seen a team challenge an opposition less by going direct to goal than what St Kilda did this year. Not one team has challenged the opposition less than what they did. And they're playing Richmond with all respect to Richmond. Like, it was bizarre. They've got 8 quarters to go. Can they lean into it like Sydney did against Brisbane, unleash it and see what that gives you heading into an off-season? And North Melbourne's the same. You're already conceding high scores. You're already conceding 130 points again on the weekend. But if you're doing it in a way which you can sit back and look at it and go, we've been aggressive with offense, the ball movement is there, that is something to work off heading into the off-season. Just try and get something out of these last 8 quarters that can launch into your campaign for 2026.
Based on what I've seen, Hoyney, over the last 12 weeks in particular, but the Swans confirmed it to me. Handball, you're Brisbane. You got elite handballers in Brisbane. You got elite handballers in Collingwood. You got elite handballers at the Dogs. I wouldn't be surprised if we look there at the back of the grand final and say handballers separated the premiers.
Yeah, and it just creates so much offense, so much uncertainty with the defensive structure behind the footy. Do you charge up? Do you not? Do you hold back? Do you not? And it creates a bit of uncertainty. So I just think it's just a little bit there for a few teams to work with.
The Hawks, they won 7 of their last 9, Hoyney. They doubled down on the key forwards and they saluted accordingly against Collingwood. So they've got to keep winning. What sort of optimism revolves around the Hawks?
I think we said a couple of weeks ago, with everyone seemed like they had them in 9th heading into Adelaide, Collingwood and Brisbane. But,
you said it all revolved around the Pies.
Yeah, and like first and foremost, what they do defensively is brilliant, and that will give you a chance in any competition in any season, and that's why there should be a lot of optimism with what they do. But Dylan Moore's importance on this footy club is so significant. Defensively, tick. Offensively, question marks. When he gets the footy, things happen, and we've said it numerous times throughout this season. When he gets 20-plus disposals, they very, very, very rarely lose. And what's made him a superstar of this competition for a number of years is that he's sat in that rare bracket of 20-plus and 1-plus goal a game. So for him to do what he's done over the last 4 weeks, 3 times he's reached that 20-plus disposals over the last 4 weeks. They've won 3 of those 4 games. The only time that he didn't was against Adelaide a couple of weeks ago. So he's up there with the most important players to Hawthorn and what they do over the next 2 weeks and in this finals period. And then we just wanted to have a quick look at what we've described as the damage patch kids, right? The ones that just have that 1 quarter where they kill the game and that is it. The damage patch kids.
The damage patch.
Right?
Did you have one of those as a kid, did you?
So I did actually.
Did you?
I
You had a
did.
cabbage
I
patch?
did.
Yeah,
I did.
so-
I was very lucky.
Okay.
So Dylan Moore, that's the one for Hawthorn. When he gets it,
Yep.
things happen. If you're Adelaide, right? Yeah, Adelaide, coming against Adelaide. It's Jordan Dawson who's the damage patch kid over Isaac Rankin. Rankin's not that. Rankin's a star, but it's Jordan Dawson. If you're coming against Brisbane, it's Zach Bailey or Hugh McCluggage, not Lockie Neal. We've spoken about that. Coming up against Collingwood, very obvious. It's Nick, right? Then that's pretty much bust. Right? You're going after Nick. Fremantle, Luke Jackson's the one. We spoke about his game against Carlton. He won them that game against Carlton.
Yeah,
it's Luke Jackson. Andrew Brayshaw, just consistent. Doesn't really matter between wins and losses. Luke Jackson's the one. If you're coming against Gold Coast, it's Anderson, not Rao. Okay? If you're coming up against GWS, it's Callahan, not Green. And if you're coming up against the Dogs, pretty obvious one. If you're coming against the Dogs, it's Bont, not Libber. Libber's just the consistency there. It's just a super. How good was that in the weekend?
How good was that on the weekend? On fire.
So just to keep an eye on the damage patch kids.
Okay, the damage patch.
I like that.
You got any other damage patch kids out there for
any
other
at Geelong?
teams?
Geelong is Jezza, and actually it's Bailey Smith instead of Max Holmes.
Okay.
Holmes' consistency's there. Bailey Smith and what he does, there. So I don't know. I know there's a couple of surprises there. The Zach Bailey one.
Yep.
Is interesting, I reckon, if you come up against Brisbane, because Hugh McCluggage does a lot of the damage. I mean, he's had an absolute brilliant season. But what this guy does ahead of centre, and we'll get into Brisbane very shortly, his ability to be able to win contests and then create from there. You saw his first half against Collingwood a couple of weeks ago. 4 touches, games on the line, shut out of it a little bit, and then just goes bananas in the second half to end the game. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and we've spoken about this as well. So they're the damage patch kids, but this final series, we're not going to see tagging. Like other than potentially Mullen at Geelong, you're not going to see tagging in this final series. So it's just whether or not those individuals there get circled on the whiteboard coming up against them in a finals campaign is going to be interesting. Just keep an eye on them.
All right, Gerard, we are due, definitely, I think, overdue to nail a Guess Who, and I feel like tonight's the night. I've got a good feeling about it tonight. I reckon we're on a...
You have been inspired by the Snoop.
Yeah, Snoop's got me... What did you... Yeah, Snoop's got me going. I'm going to have to...
You're on the gin and juice. The gin and juice.
Oh, no. Righto, Hoyney.
Look how happy he is with himself tonight, isn't he? He's very happy.
I'm inspired by the dog.
All right, post-buy. Who has the third best forward 50 in the competition? Post-buy, who's got the third best forward 50 in the competition?
All right, G, the texts have just come pouring in. Just about every club mentioned. Do you want to kick us off?
Well, post-buy, I'm thinking it's Melbourne.
The Demons.
The Demons. And I'm wondering where this question have come from. Maybe Bucks has just poked it into Hoyney's mind and said, tell me a bit about the Demons. I need to do a bit of a deep dive.
I love that theory. I'll go with the obvious. It's almost too obvious. But if the Dogs are 1 and Geelong are 2, I'll go with the Crows at 3.
Not a bad guess by you, Sammy. Where are the Crows? The Crows are 4th in that time.
Very good.
But I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Look, our producer, Sammy Watson, comes in there. He knows my method, and he just sits there tactically, and he goes, well, you haven't got this team on the agenda. Oh, no, they've scored a lot lately. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's nailed it
And
again.
Sammy has nailed it, and Gerard has nailed it. Well done. It is Melbourne.
That's the way his mind works.
Melbourne. No, it's just, he knows me too well. We've been doing this for too long.
Oh, that's actually scary how he's...
Yeah, and he comes in every week, and he just does it.
He's
just
picking
knows
you.
it. So, well done. So it is Melbourne. So
I'm feeling flat.
So for those that want to...
I nailed it, and I'm getting no credit.
Come on, be honest. Credit where credit's due. Well done, Sammy. So this Melbourne Ford 50 is functioning as well as we have seen it for God knows how long, probably going back to that 2021 final series. And I think when everyone's talking about what's going on with Melbourne and what's wrong with Melbourne at the moment, forget about the offense. The offense isn't their issue. It's behind the footy. That's the issue at the moment because, as I said, post-bye, when they kick the ball inside 50, they are the third best team at retaining possession, third best team for taking a mark, and they score more than anyone else from that direct kick going inside forward 50.
You reckon the Demons match or the committee knew this, Hoyney, prior to they put the blade in?
Don't know. Don't know. You would think so. I don't
Surely
know.
they
You'd
do.
think so.
Of course
but,
they know. Yeah.
Well,
But,
the football department would know that.
but Christian...
That doesn't mean the football department had any hand in the axing.
No, but they'd be able to present their case to say, look, we ranked 3 in the competition for
Yeah, well,
50
that's right. Well, he
efficiency.
did have a meeting with the board the week before, so.
Yep.
Credit where credit's due to Christian Petrarca, who's been a poor kick going inside
Yeah.
50 for a long time. Post by a top 10 kick going inside forward 50, playing in that new role. Well done. Cozzy Pickett, his ability to generate a score from his kicks going inside 50, number 1 in the comp. Bailey Fritsch is the best forward 50 target in the comp, and Jake Melsham is also top 10 target in the competition. So that reworked forward half is working. It's something potentially for this new coach to come in and have a look at and go, geez, that actually worked for a 2-month period here. Maybe we lean into that in this back-end campaign. But well done to the Ds. That forward 50 is working. It is not a weakness. Other aspects of the game are a weakness as opposed to what's
What would they
happening
need
inside
to
forward
fix up to
50.
be a finals contender, Hoyney?
Oh, I think they're going to get this midfield
Yep.
right and this midfield balance right, and then behind the footy, where does that sit? Everyone keeps telling me it's Lever and May. Lever and May aren't the same players that they were 4 years ago. So what do they do behind the footy?
All right, let's pick up Hoyney. The Cats. Now, they've got Sydney at the SCG, do they not, this weekend? I know you won't want to cast forward too much. That's not a straightforward assignment.
It's a good challenge for the Cats.
Yeah, like it was. So this is I guess, a potential audit that a lot of people saying the Cats aren't really getting in the back end of the season.
Great timing for them, because the reality is that across the season, not just the 6-week period, across the season, their profile is in brilliant shape.
Rude health.
So there's only one team in the comp who's got 4 key areas ticked off that each premier has for the last 12 years. Your ability to defend, protect your back half, defend ball movement, and territory-wise. They are one, right? So the only aspect of their game that is a concern is their inability to defend transition.
Yep.
Right? The best have got them. When they lock away that and they're okay at defending transition, which should be easier said than done, everything else in their game is brilliant, right? So with this new Sydney ball movement, this aggressive ball movement, it is a perfect audit for them. Because if we sit here on Tuesday and that has been exposed again, you are who you are.
You are who you are.
So that is a great game to watch and a great time for Geelong to get it. One of 2 ways will happen on Sunday for the Cats.
All right, the Gold Coast Suns, Hoyney, they sit 6th. They're just in the glut of
Yes,
got to
they
win
are.
every week teams. How are you looking at them?
Just want to talk about the R.A.M raid. The R.A.M raid. R.A.M. Raul Anderson Miller.
Like
Right.
it.
Right?
The
Good name
Ram
for a
raid.
car, yep.
It is a R.A.M raid or bust.
They're violent, the Ram raids.
It's the R.A.M raid or bust for Gold Coast.
Yeah.
What those 3 are doing is absolutely brilliant. Right? They are all top 30 players in our competition.
So
this
you tell me
season.
there's going to be no tagging in finals,
And
and yet
it is.
Anderson had a very low input this week.
Hey, that was a
Who did
good.
he play against? He played against Carlton.
Yeah.
The poorer teams tag, the best don't.
Bit of work, though, didn't it?
It worked, but we know what the best do. And we've spoken about this on the show. The best are going for it. They're going to go aggressive. They're going to back themselves in because, unless something changes.
Unless
But
O'Sheen gets hold of you.
he's the only one. He's the only one. But what they do at clearance is sensational. They are the second best clearance team in the comp since round 6.
Yep.
Their ability to get on the scoreboard is the 3rd best in the competition. But they have a huge issue in the most important aspect of the game, that being the turnover game. They are in the negative for scoreboard return from turnover since round 6. That ain't getting it done at the end of the year. So I think we'll all enjoy them playing finals.
Yep.
Be great exposure for them. Be great opportunity for these guys to play their first final, hopefully play 2 finals. But if you're thinking that they're going to go deep and challenge and potentially get to or win a prelim or what have you, which I don't know if many of us are, but what they are doing in the most important aspect of the game is miles off. Miles off.
Can
the
you
best. They
break
scored
that-
2 goals
Yeah.
off turnover against Carlton.
Can
on
you
the
break
weekend.
it down a little bit more? Is it the front half turnover or back half turnover?
Their inability, they can win it back.
Yeah.
Their inability to be able to score off their ball movement game has
Okay.
completely disappeared. Put this into context, right?
Yep.
They won the footy back off Carlton 42 times in their
Right.
back half.
Yep.
They scored twice. Twice. So the R.A.M raid is flying.
Yep.
That it poses a threat to the whole competition. outside of the R.A.M raid, they haven't got too much at the moment to throw back at the comp, which makes it a fascinating game on Saturday against GWS. Because that is, I think everyone, I don't know where everyone sits on that one. That is a genuine 50-50 game on Saturday, which we can't wait to look forward to.
It's amazing because ultimately Richmond under Damien Hardwick
excelled in that aspect.
were unbelievable at the turnover. And yet it's the weakness up at the Sunshine State.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. So a lot would have to change at Gold Coast.
How are we to read the Lions?
Easiest team in the competition to work out 5 minutes into a game of footy. Easiest team. If you see aggression in terms of what they're doing defensively, good luck trying to beat them. If you don't see that, then you're a chance against them. And it has been that way all year.
Attitudinal.
When they apply pressure at AFL average, not through the roof, at AFL average, they've lost once for the year. And that was against Adelaide over there where they should have won by 4 or 5
What's the average now?
goals.
Is it 185?
180, right?
Okay.
So I think it's mindset.
Upstairs,
They've been up for 7 years, right? So they come down to Collingwood, MCG, big occasion. We'll embrace that. We go down to Geelong Friday night, big occasion, big game. We'll embrace that. We go to Hawthorn MCG, big game. We'll embrace that. We go to Adelaide Friday night, big game. We'll embrace that. Right? What they do against the best is frightening. Defensively, number one against the best. Not get rid of the trash. Right? Number one against the best. Turnover game, number one. The defensive 50, number one. Their contest work, number one. Their clearance work, top 2. They're the only team in the comp who's top 6 in moving the footy from halfback and D50, both offensively and defensively. And their territory, number one. Right? That's why we all can sit back and understand and appreciate they are still the team to beat. Friday night against Fremantle.
Is that big enough?
100% it's big enough.
So they'll be on.
And then I just wanted to pose this.
What about the accumulation of the injuries?
This is all I'm worried about. This is what I want to talk about, right? So they've got injuries, right?
Yeah.
I get that. There's been 1,401 teams in Champion Data's history that have had 60 plus entries. 1,401. They won 8 post-clearance forward 50 contested possessions on the weekend. The fewest ever for a team with 60-plus entries.
Mindset.
Go to your forward half because they've got individuals out behind the footy and you can't have individuals out behind the footy when you're trying to defend transition, right? I get that. So Starcevic, Lester, Ainsworth, Payne, not there. Right? But if that forward 50 had have been more competitive and wins more of those contests, they stopped the transition going back the other way.
Yep.
Lockie Neal wasn't the issue. They dominated clearance. That forward 50, Hipwood, Archie,
Cameron.
Cameron.
Rayner.
What they did on the weekend, as I said, there's 1,401 times the team has had 60-plus entries. It was the worst or fewest forward 50 contested possession wins we've seen. So that is solely and utterly on the agenda Friday night because you can't. They can't dish that up 2 weeks in a row.
And you say you can tell within the first...
First 5 minutes. You sit back on the couch, you see defensive intent from Brisbane. If you're a Brisbane supporter, sit back, crack one open, you're pretty safe. Right? If you don't see it and you see the ping pong like it was on Saturday,
Look out.
it was great to watch. You sit there and you go, oh,
You're in for a long
This is
night.
a little bit nervy. When they've got it, good luck. When they don't, vulnerable.
Hoyney, let's rage through this. The MDP?
MDP, so our man, Ed Richards, highest rated player on the weekend.
course.
He's very close to becoming an immortal. Might fall a little bit short. But, what a star of the competition he is. Ball use was also Ed Richards as well. No one had greater impact than them. Josh Dunkley, through how he won the footy. No one had greater impact over round 22 than him. And Libba, number one defensive action over the
Libba.
weekend. So well done to Libba.
Is Ed Richards going to be your Brownlow medal tip?
I think he's got to be up there, doesn't he?
Stop talking about it. All right, who did the coaches miss in the votes?
Chad Warner, Saturday, he had a game, so he had one of his highest rated games of the season, fifth highest rated player on the ground, didn't get a vote. Braden Friorini, going really well as a winger, actually the second best winger in the competition since round 9. Going along quite well, didn't get a vote. Andrew Brayshaw, third highest rated player on the ground Saturday night. Ball winning actions, no one was better in that game, and especially given how much they needed it. So he needed a good performance too, Andrew. So well done there. Luke Parker on Sunday against against GWS, fourth highest rated player on the ground, 29 touches.
Had a pretty good year, Luke.
Yeah, he's been reasonable, but that was one of his better performances this season. And just wanted to give this guy a bit of a shout out at West Coast, Liam Baker. Always heard Nick Rewalt say he's almost the greatest competitor in the game. He's going really well
Captain
this
this
year.
week,
Second highest rated player on the ground.
You
Didn't
get
get
double
a vote.
points for captaincy.
Gem and Horror. I like you, Gem.
Gem, West Coast v Adelaide.
Great game.
First time in history, 18th place has led first place at three-quarter time.
Ever?
Well, there's a bit of a stats abuse. It's only been 12 years, 13 years. There's been 18 teams.
That's still amazing, I reckon.
So
There was
little
no
bit-
footy BC.
No, but yeah, that's right.
And then the horror, but not a bad horror though for Freo. They gave up 49 points in the second quarter.
Yeah.
They are the first team in history to give up 49 points in a quarter and still win
well
a
played.
game of footy. So we talk about how they're winning. They're doing it
Crazy
in ways the industry's never seen before. So well done to the Dockers. And thankfully this weekend the fixture looks sensational.